Saturday edition. Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Ooh. Airplane mode. It's key. All right, y'all. Get rolling here. It is game day, y'all. Whew. Game day. Saints, Ravens, who dat? Ain't worried about the haters. More likely the realists who think the Saints are going to stink this year. And they may very well stink this year. But it's Saints football. It's game day. And I'm pumped up for it. So let me know what y'all got. Really good night last night. Was out at Calicut. They had the Grizzly Greats Athletic Hall of Fame induction, and I get to MC. Well, I get to. They invite me to MC it every year, and I'm thrilled to do that. It's the only way I'll ever be invited to one of those things. But seriously though. So did that. A little bit of a late night. Got home, and the crew from Pinnacle Exterior Construction is here today. They're building the brick encasement for outdoor kitchen. So they did the roof, the structure. Now they're doing the brick encasement with the grill. And so like after today, it should look. They'll have to run electrical and do some other things. But after today, it should kind of look almost not done, but it's gonna look how it's gonna look. So I'm excited. All right, let's say some good mornings. The crew got here at like 7. And there's a guy in the driveway, like mixing the mortar, right, for the bricks, and you hear like doom, 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 because he's like stirring and all. And I was like, neighbors are gonna be super pumped about this. But they closed it. He shut that thing down for a few minutes. I think they're cranking it up now, but it was like 7. I was like, hey, can we wait closer to 8 to kind of get that part rolling? Anyway, all right, let's say some good mornings here. Let me share the YouTube, sorry. Where are we, YouTube? There you are. Share this out real quick. Sorry, my apologies. Just give me 2 seconds to hit to tweet this out. Yup. And bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. All right. Okay. Where are we? Here we go. Joey Vincent, good morning. Trivia Carter, good morning. Jonathan Martin, Brian Ashcraft, good morning. Brian, thanks again, man, for sending me the. I think I told you yesterday morning, but thanks again for sending me the picture of your Air and Service Pro that came in. Bubba Tatum, good morning. Morning Sconers even trivia. Cliff Nelson, DC, the Bayou Bengal, good morning. Damon Hinderberger. Like button smash, thank you. Smash that like button. We appreciate that as always. Smash the like. We do appreciate that. You know what? I'm gonna push this up a little bit. Sorry, YouTube. Oh, I went screwed it up. Gosh dang it. Whatever. All right, it's just gonna be crooked. Just how it's gonna be. Oh well. Let's see. Brian Anypin, any word on the Will Wade situation? So last week, I did talk about this on the show last week. The NCAA. Oh God, this is a long story, but I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes. So. Is there an update? You're probably going to have some resolution, not resolution, but you should have a notice of allegations from the NCAA within 60 days. I was told all spring that they were expecting it before the start of the football season. So, but last week, if you saw the news, and we talked about it on AFR, the independent review panel, they can now accept the NCAA's investigation instead of conducting their own. What's happening was NCAA spends all this time investigating a case, and they can't come to a resolution, so they pass it up to the independent review panel, which then starts its own investigation. So it's basically like starting over. Well, now what they're saying is, all right, you can use all the research that the NCAA got together to make your decisions. And the reason is, if you remember this, basically the 5 schools associated with the federal bribery trial and everything, like of all those schools, LSU is the only one that still has not received a notice of allegation or anything from the NCAA. LSU is the only one. And the reason is because they don't have anything on Will Wade. I know that sounds super homerish, but follow me. Basically, they have Will Wade on a wiretap talking about the strong-ass offer, right? So they start investigating. Well, the smart deal, right, was Javante. Y'all, I'm telling you, they went and turned that thing upside down. They talked to Javante's mama, his AU coach, his family. They got bank records, and like they didn't find no money. So they know something happened because of the wiretap, but they have no evidence of anything happening. So finally, Greg Sankey stood up and said, "Hey, they deserve a resolution." He talked about this in media days. He's like, "We deserve schools deserve timely process, as do the people they compete against." And so now we found out that Sankey called Emmert back in December and was like, "You got to do something. Like, this has got to change." So that's when they changed the rule to expedite this process. And so what's it going to be? Don't know, but we'll find out. Brian Wynn, good morning. Jerry DeLucky, Reagan Lee, good morning. Brian Andy Pinton from Murdo, South Dakota. Lon Hamilton, Jeff McKithen, Scott Rodri, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Reagan Lee, who do you think emerges as RB1? You know, Reagan, I'll stick with John Emery. I know they have hyped Ty Davis Price a lot. I know it. They have hyped him a bunch and talked about how great of a shape he's in this offseason, all this stuff. And maybe he'll be that guy. But here's the thing with Ty Davis Price. I like him a lot, but he's a one-cut back. He is one-cut, get up the field. And he doesn't have game-breaking potential. It doesn't mean he's a... Darrell Williams was the same way, y'all. Like, Darrell Williams was a very serviceable SEC back and is still in the NFL. But he was also next to Leonard Fournette and Darius Geis, and you could tell, man, them two dudes are different than that guy, right? It's not to say he's a bad back, it's just he was with dudes that could do much more, right? And I think that's probably the scenario here. So, you know, today's going to be interesting because LSU has a scrimmage today at noon in Tiger Stadium, and Ty Davis Price is not going to participate. He's likely to be back on Monday. So, if you're John Emery, bro, it's like, this is your shot, man. This is your shot to be the guy and just go see if you can make plays and maybe get a stranglehold on that top spot. But, I mean, I think they're all going to play. But unless if you have someone emerge the way Clyde did a couple of years ago. Blake Canfield, good morning. Lenny Moss, good morning, Lenny. Congrats on the outdoor edition. Thank you. Congratulations for spending money. No, we're thrilled. It's been great. Pinnacle's been great throughout the whole thing and keeping us up to date and keeping us aware of the schedule and all that stuff. So, all good, man. Let's see. Brian Wood, with the outdoor kitchen being finished, does that mean we party at Scone's for the UCLA game? No, because Scone will be in LA for the UCLA game. So, I will not be here for that. You know, and the thing that actually kind of stinks is I don't think I'm going to get to use it for any LSU games here at all because I'll be doing whiskey and wine. So pregame whiskey and wine, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, I do need to get my TV, though. I need to get a TV for outside. I haven't gotten that yet. Hey, Dad, good morning. Tony Williams, good morning. Reagan Lee. With them not being able to find any kind of money with the strong offer, what's the allegations going to look at? Surely not going to be bad. So the... I don't have the story in front of me, but they allege that they have connections to like dozens of, maybe it's like a dozen. Let's see. don't think I really care. But anyway, you may care, but I don't know that you need this answer desperately right now. But basically, they're alleging that it was like a dozen prospects or something like that that got impermissible benefits. So even if they don't have anything specifically with Javonte, do they have something else? Don't know. I can't find it. I'll see if I can find it somewhere else. All right, let's see. My audio isn't working on Facebook. Trivia said because Facebook is trash. Brian Ashcraft, let's see, missed the shout out. How about Ada pumping? It's butt off. Smart contracts being dropped first of next month. Should be a good green month. Yes, it should. Talking crypto, y'all. If y'all aren't in, it's not too late for this bull run, but I'm telling you, the second leg of this bull run is probably going to pump for, I would say, about 6 weeks, maybe through the end of September. Maybe the far reach should be beginning of October, and that's likely going to be it. So if you want to make some gains and take some profits, this is the time to do it. And I do believe altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin for the rest of this cycle. But that doesn't mean Bitcoin isn't going to. I mean, Bitcoin is just it's a behemoth, but there's still opportunity there. But to Brian's point, you know, if you buy ADA right now, which is Cardano or Ethereum, you got some opportunity. Matic, you got some opportunity there. All right, let's see. Pat Huseman, good morning. Tim Gotro. Brian Ashcraft, Jeremy Hill worked out well. One good guy. Yeah, that's no. Come on. Jeremy, no. That's so not even comparable. Jeremy Hill was not a one-cut guy. He also had good top-end breakaway speed, which Ty Davis Price does not have. You cannot compare the two. Jeremy Hill, in my opinion, I'm not just saying this because he works at Guarantee Now. Jeremy Hill is the most underrated running back at LSU in the last 30 years. Now, when you go prior to 30 years, I can't speak from any type of experience, but Jeremy Hill was, I mean, right there with, Fournette was obviously the best, but Jeremy Hill was right there alongside Darius Geis, who's the second best running back LSU's had behind Fournette in the last 30 years. I mean, well, I mean, I know we're going to throw Kevin Falk in there, so maybe I should say 25 years. So to go post Kevin Falk, but so as not to have him involved in that conversation. But Jeremy Hill is criminally underrated as an LSU running back, and the reason is because he obviously didn't play in that 2011 season. They played just 12 and 13, and the team didn't do much in those seasons. I mean, 12 was. It was supposed to be the redemption from the 2011 championship game, and they fell short. And he really emerged in that 2012 season. And then in 2013, do you realize he averaged almost 7 yards a carry in 2013? Jeremy Hill averaged 6.9 yards per carry at 1,400 rushing yards at 7 yards a carry. Like, it wasn't like he had 40 carries on the season and averaged 7 yards. He had 203 rushes for 1,401 yards, averaged 6.9 yards a carry, and had 16 touchdowns. But Jeremy Hill is criminally underrated. And the fact that you would even compare Jeremy Hill to Ty Davis Price is so, I mean, I love you, Brian, I'm not being critical. It's like, that's such an illustration of my point, like how criminally underrated as a back he was and is. That dude was a monster. People just don't forget it because that 2013 team, it was Jarvis and Odell and Met, right? Met threw for 3,000 yards. It was Jarvis, Odell, and the defense stunk. And so they went to an Outback Bowl. But like Jeremy Hill was. Dur, 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 dur. Ty Davis Price is more. Go look up some Jeremy Hill highlights, bro. Just go look up Jeremy Hill LSU highlights. Ty Davis Price is more Darrell Williams. Jeremy Hill is more Darius Geis. Power, escapability, top end speed. Like, I often think, like, if he hadn't gotten in trouble and missed 2011, could he, as a true freshman, have been the guy on that team? And I think he probably could have, because Kenny Hilliard is the one I remember late in that season that kind of emerged. I mean, Spencer Ware and Michael Ford were your leading rushers, but by the end of the season, Kenny Hilliard was the guy that really emerged. But Jeremy Hill made everybody forget about Kenny Hilliard. Anyway. Let's see, Brown Bear 765. Morning, Matt. My dad's the athletic director for a small high school in Senla. This is going to be his first season doing the radio calls for football games. I'm hoping he does good. I'm sure he will. Dude, that's a passion project. That's a labor of love, man. When you're calling high school football, I do miss it. It just wasn't practical for me anymore because I couldn't do my plate got too crowded and something had to go, and also I couldn't do my show. I was doing Friday shows from the high school venue wherever Catholic played, and with TV, it wasn't practical. And affiliates, the bigger AFR got, the harder that got. So man, but yeah, I do miss it. I do miss calling those games. That was so much fun. Pat Huseman, Roe doesn't drink wine, right? So should the post game be whiskey and rum? Someone has suggested whiskey and Roe, and I think that's what we'll go with. Tad Page, good morning. Trivia already doubled my ADA. Some people listen. Let's see, where would you put Hilliard? You talking about Kenny or Dalton? I mean, Dalton was obviously prior to that, but Kenny had that really good freshman season when he emerged late in 2011, but it was just really caught in the shuffle behind a bunch of really good backs after that. But he played in the NFL. That's when you had Spencer Ware and Michael Ford and Kenny Hilliard and Alfred Blue and Jeremy Hill. I mean, you just had this bevy of guys that all played in the NFL. You know, it wasn't until you gave way to Fournette that you had the guy. And it was like Fournette and Geis, but then Geis became the guy when Fournette was hurt in parts of 2016 and then in 17, obviously. But let's see, Charlie Broussard. Guess we'll find out in the coming weeks who deserves to be the starting quarterback, Winston or Hill. Charlie, I don't know if you've heard me say it, but I'll continue to say it. My contention is there's nothing that can happen in a practice or in a preseason game that is going to be more impactful than what we've seen in actual NFL games on Sundays. And I saw Taysom Hill last year, and it was not good. And Jameis Winston is a guy that's thrown for nearly 20,000 yards and started 70 career games and has a 5,000-yard season. I mean, you can say what you want about the interceptions, and I get it. I'm not telling you that decision-making is perfect. It needs to improve. But you brought him here to be a starter because he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, nothing that happens in the preseason or in practice is going to be more influential or impactful than what we've seen in games. So, Jameis Winston's going to be the starter. Brian Ashcraft, I'm not poo-pooing on the man. Great back. Sneaky fast for sure. He didn't come off as a dancing running back. I didn't realize Ty Davis Price wasn't as fast as Jay. So dancing is, I mean, we're not talking about like Barry Sanders or Alvin Kamara, but Darius Geis wasn't a dancing running back, but still had make you miss ability. So did Jeremy Hill. Ty Davis Price does not. Darrell Williams does not. It doesn't mean they don't have their strengths. Neil, hello. Let's see. Used to announce Catholic Elementary Football League in 2004. Jeremy Hill played for St. Isidore. No kidding. None of the other kids could tell. Bro, that's one of those where it's just, when you have a kid like that that's playing in one of those leagues, it's unfair because other like normal sized kids are playing against a guy that's just different, you know. And you run up on that, man, sometimes. Look at Dad, more on YouTube. Hey, Dad, smash that like button. 46 watching on YouTube, 27 likes. Thank you all so much. Please smash that like button. We appreciate it greatly. That helps us tremendously. Eric Wilderado, totally understand your opinion, keeping Stingley on defense. Curious if you felt the same way about Pat Peterson or if this is because Stingley seems injury prone. No, I 100% felt that about Peterson. Peterson never played offense. Peterson returned kicks. And if you remember, he dealt with cramps his final year. We learned later he's a type 1 diabetic. So like, or maybe he's type 2, I don't remember. But anyway, but yeah, I felt that way because like you got Peterson. Do you remember the North Carolina game in 2010? Peterson was awesome in that game. He returned a kickoff for a touchdown, almost housed another one. But the thing about Peterson is he started cramping. North Carolina had a pass into the end zone on the last play to win it. And Peterson was not on the field for that pass because he had cramps. He was on the sideline. I'm like, why are you? Yeah, yes, I absolutely felt that way. 100% felt that way. So, anyway, yes, I 100% felt that way about Peterson. But, and here's the other thing too, though, about returns. If you're so dynamic at it that you have game-breaking ability, then I'm more inclined to take a look. But the problem with Stingley is he's not that dynamic at it. Like, at least he hasn't been. Now, a big part of that, I think, is in 2019, the offense was so good, it was like, hey, just fair catch everything, right? I mean, it was like, just don't fumble the ball. That was the whole thing. We got Joe Burrow. Just don't fumble the ball. And then last year, the return game was non-existent. It's like Georgia, when Todd Gurley was at Georgia, he didn't return a ton of kickoffs, but if they felt like they needed a big play, he was good enough at it that they would say, hey, bro, hey, 3, get in there. And he had a couple kickoff returns for touchdowns in his career because when they felt like they needed a play, they put him in there. But, man, otherwise, like, find a way to get like, that was, man, remember Geis? Like, that was how Geis, we really got to know him, was in 2015. He was returning kickoffs. And you're like, who's this guy? This bowling ball running out there, you know? Brian meant Dalton Hilliard. Well, I'm not going back. I said like 25 years. Dalton Hilliard was early 1980s. I'm not going that far back. Eric, I mean, I love Dalton, but I love Dalton as a Saint. I never got to really watch Dalton as an LSU guy. So Dalton as a Saint was my favorite player as a kid. Eric, Charlie, that's true. Winston has more experience as a quarterback, multiple seasons versus however many games Hill started, for sure. Hope they can still contend. You know, Charlie, here's the key to the season for the Saints. You know, after your bye in week 6, then you go to Seattle in week 7. And at that point, after that, you'll get Onyemata and Michael Thomas back. My contention is you've got to be 3-2 going into your bye. Because I think you're going to lose in Seattle. If you can be 3-3 when you get Onyemata and Michael Thomas back, I think you have a great chance to be above 500 and get yourself in the mix for the playoffs. If you're sub 500, if you're 2-3 or 1-4 through your first 5, it's over. You have to put yourself at least in a position. Realistically, they're not going to be 4-1 or 5-0, but like you have to be able to put yourself in a position to be able to make that run. So they just gotta not be awful through the first 5 weeks. I think they're gonna lose week 1 to Green Bay. Week 2, they're at New England, and I hope they can win that game. I think they can. But if you start 0-2, now you've left yourself really no margin for error for the next 3 weeks. You've got to beat Carolina in Carolina. You got to come home and beat the Giants, which you can and probably should. And you got to go on the road and beat Washington, which you can. You know, but I think you got to beat the Giants at home. You probably got to win at Carolina, and then win one of your other road games, New England or Washington. And if you do that, you're 3-2 going into your bye. I think you lose at Seattle coming off the bye, although Peyton's teams have been really good coming off the bye historically. And if you're 3-3, then you get everybody back, and then I think you can go make your run. But man, if it falls apart early, it's over. Let's see, Brian. People who think Hill has a shot to be a starting quarterback over Winston is asinine. I don't see it. Yeah, same. Well, let's see. Do you think Geis will make it back to the NFL? I don't, Brian. And the NFL did announce yesterday that Geis has been suspended for 6 games, personal conduct policy. Not only look, I mean, with all of the off the field questions, but then also you look at the fact that both seasons he was injured. I mean, he tore his ACL in year 1, and then he had a knee injury, which he only played a handful of games in his second year in the NFL. So no, I don't. I mean, an injury-prone back with off the field issues, NFL teams will just go next. Hey Matt, would you put Hokie in the top 10 running backs at LSU? So Hokie played before my time, Brian, but no, I can't. I mean, with respect, look, I love Hokie, but I mean, realistically, you got to think about the talent you've seen roll through here, man. Just in the last 10 years, the talent that's rolled through here, and I don't like comparing eras as well. It's so hard to say how a guy like if Spencer Ware played in the 1950s, he probably would have been the greatest back ever. You know what I mean? But he played in this era and just different, dudes are bigger, stronger, faster, all that stuff. Now, physically, when you look at a guy like Billy Cannon, who, and I knew Dr. Cannon later in life, who I'm 6 foot, he was taller than me. And so if you're a 6'1", 6'2" running back with track speed, I mean, he ran a 10, what did he run, 100? I mean, he was like a track athlete. I mean, that would translate, right? That would translate to today's game. So, tough to compare errors. I was 6 years old when I first saw Dalton. Dang, I'm old. I just remember Dalton, the Saints player. Every year it seems to come down to that Green Bay game. Well, they don't play Green Bay every year, but Tim Gotra, I was a teenager when the Dalton James gang was running over the SEC. I'm older, LOL. Hey man, I'd have loved to have seen it, but for me, man, watching those Saints teams in the early 90s when they actually broke through, and you had Dalton and Bobby Hebert and Eric Martin, you had the Dome Patrol. Those were some fun teams, man. It sucked that they couldn't break through in the playoffs. But they blew the lead against the Eagles. They lost to the Falcons. Those were fun teams, man. That's really what sort of rooted my love of the Saints were those teams. Man, I love Dalton. Had a 21 Hilliard jersey. Yeah, man. Let's see. I'm being sarcastic, trying to be funny. If the Saints beat the Packers, would you like your crow smoked or deep fried? If the Saints beat the Packers, I'll eat a bag of wood chips. I didn't eat crow, whatever. I mean, I'm just giving you an opinion. Like, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers against a Saints secondary that's going to be without Marshawn Lattimore and likely Ken Crowley starting on the outside, that ain't going to go well, bro. But, I mean, I'd love to be wrong about that. You kidding me? Let's see, LSU had so many amazing running backs and no championship for 12 years. Shame. Oh, you're talking from 07? But you know what's funny about that, Charlie? Like, you say no championship for 12 years, it's a shame. Think about from 1958 to 2003. Like, that's the crazy part. when you think about LSU going 45 years without now we're so spoiled we think 12 years is a drought. 45 years, bro. I mean, and Charlie, for what it's worth, they did play in a championship game in 2011, so it's not like it was a wasteland, And I mean, we saw the most dominant season ever that LSU ever had in 2011 until 2019. Now it ended awfully, but it's not. I don't think it's a fair characterization just to say, well, they stunk, because they didn't. Well, you didn't say they stunk, but you know what I mean. It wasn't all bad. Let's see, Tony Williams. I wish they'd let it go. They can't find anything. If something was going to happen, it would have happened by now. Talking about Will Wade. Yeah, they're not just going to let it go, Tony. And these things take years. I mean, that's a big part of the problem is the NCAA's investigative arm doesn't have the staffing to move quickly because they also don't have subpoena power, right? That's why they require participation and self-reporting and things like that. Tavanka De Silva, good morning. It's that time of year. Sleepless Saturday nights for me as most of the games are late Saturday night, early hours of Sunday. Let's go. Now it's Saturday at 7 p.m. in Sri Lanka. Wow, you are going to have late nights, aren't you? My goodness. You're at middle of the night kickoffs at nighttime here, huh? Or early morning. Jeffrey Bone, good morning. Lon Hamilton. You would think TAF would be working together to help LSU with a prepackage for these elite athletes to get them to LSU. Otherwise, we'll be losing players, not enough money. I think there's enough money to do it right. I bet boosters from other schools have started. For all the underhanded deals we've been known for, it's time to step out of the shadows. But see, that's the point, Lon. Like, you've had people do it under the table for years. It's just going to legitimize it now. What do you think happened with Stingley? Well, actually, the Stingley car deal was not a booster. That's a really interesting one because the Stingley car deal is basically a sports agency that owns a car dealership that gave him the car, which is basically guaranteeing that he's going to sign with their agency. It's what's it called? They're out of Houston. Barry or something like that. What are they called? I can't find it. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it's a sports agency out of Houston. And the guy who owns the agency also owns that car dealership in Natchitoches. I saw yesterday, why do you think Derek Stingley did a car deal with a dealership out of Natchitoches, Louisiana? No disrespect to Natchitoches, but you're Derek Stingley, you're at LSU. Wouldn't you do something in Baton Rouge? Jason Aguilar, Brandon English, good morning, good morning. Stephen Miller, have you guys finalized California plans? Nope. Stephen, I'm telling you, bro, I'm as frustrated as anybody. Like, the fact that we're 3 weeks from today is kickoff and we still don't have our finalized plans for that is maddening to me. Like, somebody got to make a decision. But I'll be where they tell me to be when they tell me to be there. I can't make people make a decision. I'm just an employee. Jason, let's see. We have a defensive line hurt with LSU yesterday. Who is it? What happened? Greenbreads. Are you talking about Glenn Logan? Glenn Logan broke his foot. So he'll be back this year, but he's going to be out for a while. Most experienced defensive lineman. I mean, it's good that you have a lot of depth at that position, but when you cut from the top, right, then everybody has to move up. And so it hurts your depth because now your depth becomes the guys you count on. But they'll get Glenn back this year. Poor Glenn. Craig Dugas, good morning. Reagan Lee, I really feel like LSU is the best setup location-wise and opportunity for a program than any other school in the country. Louisiana puts out so much talent. LSU normally put a fence around it. Bama, Texas. If we get a solid coach that stays out of trouble, we can compete for a title every year. I mean, Reagan, that's why the last three coaches at LSU have all won national championships. And I don't think anybody's putting Les or Ed Ogeron on lists of the greatest coaches anywhere. Like, basically, keep the best players in Louisiana, hire good coaches, you can win a natty. true. Brad Jones. Brad Jones station at Wichita Falls, Texas. Water Battle of Calumet 15. Do you have any thoughts? Haven't had Calumet 15, man. But enjoy. If you like it, man. If you like it, roll with it, bro. That's what I would say. Drink what you like. Stephen Miller. There's plenty more electric options on this team to have two-way players. Agreed. Tony Williams, Johnny Robinson, and Jimmy Taylor. Yeah, you're going way back into the day. But that's, could those guys play today? I don't know. Back when the Saints drafted LSU players, Hilliard and Martin. You're trying to kick the anthill this morning. I know you are. They got Quan, free agent, but they got Quan. They drafted Will Clapp. I get the frustration, but I've done that. I've done that segment so many times. That takes so many times. Like, if you go look at how often do the Falcons draft Georgia players? How often do the Dolphins draft University of Miami players? How often do the Packers draft Wisconsin players? It ain't that much, bro. Like, it's a rarity to have a player at a position from that school, at a position of need, on the board, at the time you're picking, and that's the highest rated player on your board. It's a rarity. I know everybody says Patrick Queen last year. Well, you took Ruiz because you knew you were cutting Larry Warford because you needed the cap space. So you needed a starting offensive lineman. So you drafted the lineman. Meanwhile, you had DeMario Davis, and you made the trade for Quan. So you drafted Zach Bond, who many people thought was a first-round talent. You got in round 3. It made sense. It makes sense when you rationally think about it. See, you got me started down that road, Steven. You knew you were going to do it, too. Jason, let's see. Thad Moss is going to start at tight end with Joey B at Cincinnati. Good for him. Joey B is running the Bengals. I don't think Thad Moss is going to start, bro. I think he's got to work to make that team. But I hope he makes the team. Let's see. If the Saints had better coaching back with the Dome Patrol, they might have won a Super Bowl. The tough part about that, Tony, is when you're in a division with the 49ers and you've got literally the best quarterback ever until Brady came along. It was Rice and Montana and Taylor and Craig and Rathman. Come on, man. It was just you were unfortunately in a division with the guy who was prior to the current GOAT, the greatest ever. Sucks, but it's what it is. It's sorry that Charles Barkley and Karl Malone and all these Hall of Fame, Patrick Ewing, these Hall of Famers played in an era where Jordan just dominated. Sorry. Sucks, but it's just the way it was. I'm not telling you Jim Mora was a great coach. Never won a playoff game. But, I think that had as much to do with being in the division with San Francisco as anything. Hey, Nolan Daigle, good morning. Danny Braywick, LSU needs to set up NIL for baseball to get the guys on scholarship like Vandy does. Well, remember, you can't just do a pay-for-play deal. It has to be services rendered sort of thing. So everybody saw the Built Bar thing this week with BYU. Those guys still have to make social media posts and do appearances and stuff like that, which is very doable. But remember, that is a part of the NIL thing. There has to be a services rendered part of it as well. Craig Dugas, Cam Thomas lighting it up. Shocker, right? Pretty soon he will be all Musso. We'll talk about the Tigers and the Pros. Try to tell him, bro. Try to tell him. It's 3 weeks. LSU hasn't sent out electronic tickets yet, only seat location. Man, I know I'm getting my ticket through the Mr. Funds with Ramazon, so I know I'll get mine when I get there. Father John David III, good morning. By the way, Facebook, if you would please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. YouTube, please smash that like button. Tyrell Franks, good morning. Go Texans. Bubba Tatum, Baylor decision should make us feel better about what they will hit LSU with, but I'm concerned about the inconsistencies and punishment by the NCAA. The other thing to keep in mind with LSU's investigation is you also have a federal Title IX investigation, which the NCAA can and will do whatever they want, but with respect to Title IX, like that's the U.S. Department of Education, and like they can cut federal funding for the university. I mean, it's bad. That's potentially really bad. I remember in '87 when they first made the playoffs, I read the commercial was something about the Saints. City was rocking, reminded me of Major League, the movie. So my dad and my uncle went to that game against the Vikings in '87. I actually have a sweatshirt in a bin in the attic for that playoff game when they made the playoffs in '87. Tim Gotro is an older fan. I'd like to remind fans there was a time when bowl games meant everything in football, and LSU had a long losing streak in bowl games, including some pretty embarrassing losses. Yeah, man. Kept running up against Nebraska and Sugar Bowls and Orange Bowls and whatnot. Joe Del Monaco, Jimmy Granger Auto. Yeah, so Jimmy Granger Auto is the one in Natchitoches, and it's actually owned by a sports agent out of Houston who is funneling the car to Stingley through that, basically to assure him that he'll sign with them when he goes pro. Pretty smart. If the Dome Patrol was on today's Saints, would have the Saints have been a dynasty? Brian, the Saints won more games than any team in the NFL over the last 4 years. They just didn't win a Super Bowl because it's really hard. And you're also talking about if Dome Patrol, you're talking about a 3-4 defense. And nobody runs a defense with 4 linebackers anymore. So no, I don't think so. When is Russ coming back on AFR? Likely next week. I need to confirm with him. I asked him to come on this week. He's like, I'm not ready yet. I was like, okay. So I'll ask him again next week. If not, then the following. Whatever happened to Redemptress? Redemptress closed down, man. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Craig Dugas. Let's see, I know I say it every year, past few years, but I really mean it. I'm more looking forward to this basketball than I am football. This squad schedule doesn't hurt that we're basketball school now either. This is definitely Will Wade's most talented team. I will be very interested to see if they can pull it all together. They released the schedule yesterday and the non-conference schedule. And Will is Will putting together the non-conference schedule. It's basically a math equation. He knows how to manipulate the net, how to make sure that he's got quad 1 games and who's going to, like you see Liberty on there and schools that won 23, 26 games a year ago. He knows just playing those will end up being quad 1. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, man. Danny Braywick, ESPN did a list of top 50 coaches of the last 50 years. Les was on it. Jordy went off on his podcast about it. Well, you can't ignore the fact that Les Miles won a national championship, played for another national championship, and was a head coach at both Oklahoma State and LSU and consistently won for a long time. The guy's got an 800 winning percentage. I mean, I used to say about Les all the time, there's many different ways to skin a cat. As unconventional as he was, as maddening as it was at times, you don't win for that long, that consistently by accident. Do I think other coaches could have maximized that talent and done more? Yes, I do. Absolutely. You know, but the thing Les did was he hired great assistants and he delegated. His undoing was he couldn't get his hands off the offense. And that all changed, by the way, after 2008. I mean, 2007 was Gary Crowton, was the Wizard. Remember the Auburn game? They threw a pass in the end zone at the end of the game. Like, they weren't conservative. Like, Mike Gundy was his OC at Oklahoma State. I mean, they weren't conservative. He went into a shell after the interceptions in 2008. He made the decision, I'm never going to lose games again because of our inability to protect the football. And that's when he went in the shell. And then the game just evolved beyond him. Tony Williams, those guys are the reasons I'm a 49ers fan today. Tony, if you're a 49ers fan and you live in Louisiana, you suck. Front-running busters. You don't really suck, Tony. But as a sports fan, you suck. Freaking 49er fan in Louisiana. Let's see. It's like Clay Young. My buddy Clay Young's a 49ers fan. And Baton Rouge, get lost. 49ers. Father John David Mathern. There's a few college quarterback wide receiver combos the last couple of years, which is interesting in the NFL. Do the quarterbacks have that much stroke to determine picks like that? Burrow, Chase, Tua / one of the Bama guys. No, I don't think it's that at all. I think that's just happenstance. I think Jalen Waddle's the one who's down in Miami. I'm pretty sure it was Waddle. Because Smith went to the Eagles. I think Jalen Waddle went to Miami. Yeah, Jalen Waddle's in Miami. I think that's coincidence and probably, factored in nicely in their decision making, but I think that's just happenstance. Like, you name two. Name any others? Are the Jets going to draft a BYU receiver to pair with Zach Wilson? Seems like traction could work out. Hitting instructor, pitching coach, just ads for the company. Thought I heard Drew's backpack beeping. Yeah, Danny, that's not happening, by the way. All those guys are going to work out of traction anyway. Mark Vitanovich, Saints game tonight. Ravens haven't lost a preseason game, 17 straight. Oh, it's crazy. I forgot about that. John Harbaugh is like the master of the preseason game. Wasn't even thinking about that. It's so funny, Mark, because like with preseason games, I don't think so much about the result. Like it's weird, but I really don't care if they win or lose. It's just more of an evaluation tool, right? So, but yeah, John Harbaugh does. Like that's true. Like the Ravens like always wreck the preseason. They're always really good at it. Father John David Mathern, like a Yankee fan in LA. Here's the difference, Father John David Mathern. Please tell me the MLB team in Baton Rouge or in Louisiana. Please tell me the team that's right down the street. Please tell me the team that's in your state. Like we got Lakers fans here when you got an NBA team right down the road. Mm-hmm. And bro, when I was a kid, the Yankees sucked. The Yankees didn't make the postseason until 1995 when I was a kid. And like I grew up with the Yankees being awesome. They sucked when I was a kid. Let's see. Les faked a punt in our end zone his first year. First game, bro. The Arizona State game. Faked a punt out of the end zone. Cliff, any word on getting Sean Salisbury for Mike D spot? Not yet, man. I haven't talked to Sean. I haven't decided what I'm going to do there, Cliff. I may not fill somebody for an entire hour. I have a few ideas. Not everybody is interesting for an entire hour as a guest. Mike D was, no doubt. Not everybody is. So, Lee Value, good morning. Interested to see how the Saints defense performs tonight. Me too, man. Curious to see. By the way, I'm not saying Sean Salisbury couldn't be interesting for an hour. And maybe I'll talk to him about it. I'd love to have Sean on the show. I just don't know if I would do something for an hour. Let's see. I know what you're doing, Father Mathern. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Drew Brown, Matt, what is a new bourbon that you've had lately? So I don't know if you mean like something like a new brand or just something that I've tried for the first time. I like New Riff. But Shane Danton from Pinnacle Exterior Construction gave me this. This is a barrel pick, but it's New Riff single barrel. That's a good one. Got a little heat on the front end, even though it's 105.8 proof. A little heat on the front end, but really, really nice, flavorful. And there's a company called Nashville Whiskey. I might have shown you all this before. It's Nashville Barrel, and they make a rye, which is really good. That's a really good rye. It's MPG, so it's sourced juice, but it's really good. Those are good, but you can always go with some Sassy, bro. Sassy way. Shout out to Brock, y'all. Banner's Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. After Hours Clinic, open today. You need a roof, Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com. We do commercial. A lot of people have been asking me that. Do y'all do commercial roofs? Yes, we do commercial roofs. So, man, if you're like a big apartment complex or you're a big mixed-use development, whatever it is, yes, we do commercial roofs. Would love the opportunity to bid on your commercial roofing job, or you just hire us. Brandon English. I always watched the Cubs because they were on TV. My older cousins were real big fans. I did like to follow the Braves teams too. I mean, I make fun of them a lot, but it's true. Like I watched the Cubs. Like Ryan Sandberg as a kid was my favorite player. I loved Ryan Sandberg for the same reason. Summers, WGN, watching the Cubs games because they were on the day. Flip shades. I loved Ryan. I thought he was awesome. That was my guy. And in that era, I pulled for the Cubs a lot because I loved Ryan Sandberg. Like if I had an AL and an NL team, that's how it would have gone. Like I would have cheered for the Cubs. But when Sandberg left, I just stopped caring about him. Hi! What a hot mess. Drew just walked through here with his hair poking up, carrying Erica's phone in his candy cane jammies. It's always Christmas in the Scone household. I've always been an Astros fan, so bring on the trash cans. Yeah, I just don't care about the Astros. Like the only reason that I ever in this period started to is because of Bregman. And the second he leaves the Astros, I'll never care about him again. So yeah, I mean I pull for Alex. I don't really care about the Astros. The idea that because they're in Houston, Louisiana, people cheer for the Astros has never made a lot of sense to me. Like Louisiana and Texas always seem to have this like beef. So why would I support a Texas team? That doesn't make any sense to me. MLB blackout rules are terrible. No, that's true. The Astros being blacked out in Louisiana is awful. Brandon English, let's see. Been hearing good things about New Riff. Bayou Bourbon Society's been getting a lot of their barrel picks. Give it a go, man. It's good. Craig, Got a bottle of new Riff Cajun Boy Riff Flair. Cajun Boy Riff Flair. I like that. Artwork is crazy good. That is pretty cool. We'll buy 2. Drink 1 and then save 1. How did Drew first week back at school? Thank you for asking, Brian. When Drew did very well. He loved it. His excitement has led him to be very excited in class. And so we need to get him to calm down a little bit. But, you know, but he did great. Thank you for asking. He just loves going there. He loves the new St. Lillian. We call it the new St. Lillian because we didn't want him to be confused because they changed campuses. And so we didn't want him to be confused whenever he was in the car and wasn't going to the place that he originally went to. Where are we? 2455 Rockstar. Get Joe Pa on for an hour and we can tell old man jokes. Joe Pa, by the way, is Joey Painich, is who he's referring to, former LSU pitcher Joey Painich, who joined us several times during the companion shows. And the other guys just completely dogged him, which, by the way, one of them, Chris Demui, who was inducted last night into the Catholic High Grizzly Greats. So congrats to Moo. It was awesome. He did a great job with his speech, so really cool. Scott Ray, former LSU Tiger Scott Ray, got inducted last night as well. Steven Sterling, who was a basketball player at Catholic in the early 90s on their undefeated team. So, yeah, it was a great night. And then the fourth inductee was a gentleman who, Paul Rohrer, who ran cross country in the 70s, like 3-time state champion cross country, like runner dude, got inducted. So it was cool, man. It was a great night. It's Carly Cat. What's up? Let's see. Congrats to Devin White getting his diploma. Yes, he did. We got his degree. You get a diploma in high school, Carly Cat. You get a degree when you graduate from college. Cliff Nelson. Tons of other NFL fans in Baton Rouge, especially when the Saints' home games were blacked out when I was growing up. With that said, go Cowboys. Get out of here, Cliff. None but a front runner. That's all you are. Joe Delmonico. Scone. You ever tried to get Brad Johnson on? Yes. With the trick shot videos. I asked Brad actually about 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Hey man, listen, I'm gonna lay low with the season coming here. I just want to be a dad, and I'm gonna try to not do interviews." Like, I respect that. So maybe in the off season we'll be able to get him. I'm thinking about going back to him, Joe, and just being like, "Hey, what if you come on and I don't talk to you at all about Max or LSU?" Because like I would literally have him on to talk about trick shot videos. Winning the Super Bowl with the Bucs, playing with work done. He, of course, played at Florida State for Bobby Bowden, who just passed, as we know, last weekend. And he was at the Hall of Fame because of John Lynch. So, I mean, there's a ton I talked about that aren't. Now, obviously, I'd love talking about Max and all that stuff. And his other son that's the tight end that's committed. But, like, I may shoot a message and be like, what if you come on and I don't ask you a thing about LSU? I bet I could do a really interesting interview with him without asking a thing about LSU. Joseph Norton, lifelong Braves fan here. Similar reasons, always on TBS. Chipper Jones, my dude. Lee Ballew, the way you felt about Ryan Sandberg, the way I felt about Kerry Wood after he retired. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care about the Cubs anymore, even when they won it all. Yeah. Let's see. I agree, Matt Brad's got interesting experiences for sure. Keep on him. I will. Will do. All right, y'all. Are we done? We might be about done here. All right. Anybody need a roof? Look, even if you don't know if you need a roof, what you need is a free, no-obligation roof inspection. That's how the process starts. And here's the other thing I want to tell y'all. Some people think, oh, well, I'm just going to wait till a storm comes, like a hurricane or something like that. And so that way I'll file an insurance claim. Now, that's true, but usually you have you want to check this with your insurance. Usually you have a higher deductible for a named storm than you do wind hail deductible. So like we had hail here in the last 6 months. You might have had damage that you're not aware of yet. It's better to have us inspect now than to wait for a named storm, because what if your storm, your hurricane deductible is, I told one yesterday on AFR, Insurance Network of Louisiana rewrote a guy's policy. His hurricane deductible was, they went from $16,000 to $5,000, but still a $5,000 deductible. Now $5,000 for a new roof relative to a cash price is great, but What if your wind hail deductible is $1,000? Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Okay, I think we're done, y'all. Who dat? Hope y'all have an awesome Saturday. Wonder if I can get Drew in here. Hey, Drew, come see. Drew, come. God, I'm like a dog. Drew, come. Drew, come. And he goes, Drew, come. Hang on. So Cody said, Matt, he isn't a dog. I understand that, Cody, seriously, but we go through like, you're probably just joking, but like we do go through extensive therapy, and like he does communicate differently. So you do have to use phrases that are attention grabbing for him. He wouldn't respond as well if I said, hey, Drew, come see out to Dad's show. Like, to break his attention on the phone, like the video he's watching, like you have to say a direct phrase that he is aware of. So I know it sounds like you're calling a dog, but literally that's how we have to communicate. Otherwise he wouldn't even look up. Like the fact that he stopped was, you know. Hey, you want to come out Dad's show? Let me see. Let's see Dad's show. Oh, you see Dad's shirt. You didn't go stuff there. Jeff is out there. You see Uncle Jeff? Uncle Jeff is out there. Did you see Uncle Jeff? Okay. Look who I got. I got sweet cheeks. What? Why are you straight legged? What are you doing? He's straight legged. He wouldn't sit on my lap. Can you say hi to everyone? Say hi to Dad's show.
Hi, Dad.
Say hi, Dad's show.
Hi, Dad.
Do you want to sing Happy Birthday?
Happy birthday. Yes.
Yes. Ready? Let's sing Happy Birthday to, you know what? It was Jason's birthday this week and we missed him. You want to sing Happy Birthday to Jason? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jason. Happy birthday to you.
Yay! Now one more thing. Can you say Cali High? You do it.
Gaga.
All right. I know you want to go watch your video. Okay. You can go watch your video. I love you. Sweet cheeks. That's like gingerbread candy cane pattern. And on the butt it says sweet cheeks. You get it, sweet cheeks. Because it's candy and it's a butt cheek. Sorry. Hope Truax is watching. No, probably not. Craig Pullman, what's up? Yeah. I think we might be about done. That was a good dismount with old Drew there. Okay, Facebook, please like the page, share the post. YouTube, if you've not done so yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and smash that like button. We still got 44 watching, only 38 likes. Please smash that like button. Let's get that up. Let's see. Cody, Matt, you posted a pic on social media a few weeks back asking if anyone's kid sleeps in weird positions. One of my sisters and I grew up mostly sleeping sitting up. That's so weird. So the picture I posted was Drew like this against the wall, just, and his legs were like butterflied and he was just out. I was like, what? Because I went to go like give him his medicine in the middle of the night and I'm looking down by like the pillow and he's not there. So I get my flashlight and I'm looking at his feet and he's sitting up. I was like, oh, it scared, it like startled me. He must have like sat up and then just like fell back against the wall and just fallen asleep. Cliff Gallagher. Okay, y'all. I think we're done. Thanks as always. Who dat? Hope the Saints get a big win today. Craig, no companion show today, Craig. I'm actually have to DVR the game because we are going out for my sister-in-law's birthday. So no companion show today. But next, I love that idea for the next Saints preseason game. Love the idea. Okay, y'all. Have an awesome day. Peace.